All right, what's up, everybody? It is Atlas, the Audi technician here. Time to learn you something today. So today I got my own 2014 Audi S4 B8.5 generation. So what I'm going to show you how to do is we're going to do a water pump on this car. It's not that bad. It can be done on jack stands. Preferably you will need jack stands. You have to take the wheels off, and I would recommend getting something as a precautionary, getting something that can catch free falling coolant. So something that, something under the car that can catch it. All right, so with that being said, let's get right into it. So like I said, you already got to take the wheels off, so just go ahead, jack the car up, or if you got to lift the car up, go ahead, take the two front wheels off. All right, so now once you take the wheels off, you got a couple of T25s in here that you're going to want to take off. Up in here, there's 3 here. There is a fastener right here that I will show you how to take off. There's another T25 right here, and then for good measure, you're going to want to take off this 10 mil here, and then there's a 10 mil on the opposite side as well. You want to take that off. Essentially what you're trying to do is flip this whole front piece forward to give yourself some room to get to a bolt that's behind this fender. So let me go ahead and show you how to take that fastener off. I've taken mine off a few times, so mine might come off a little easier, but essentially you need to, there is a side of this that's flat, and you're going to want to push that side forward, and essentially it flies off like that. I have to go find where that one went, but you get the point. All right, so once you get that flap open here on the inside, you want to take a 10 mil, get that 10 mil out, and then deeper inside the bumper here, if you can see right there, let me see if I can get the camera in there. There is a 10 mil right there. Now mine's not there, but there's a 10 mil there. You want to take that out too. That's holding the front bumper in. All right, so now once you go ahead and take those bolts off of here, as you can see, those are the bolts I had to take off for mine. You want to go ahead and take off your fascia cover. You can go ahead and pop these little plastic screws out. I only have 2 on mine. Now then, once you take that fascia cover off, you can go ahead and take these 2. There are 2 T25s right here. You can zip those off real quick. All right, so I lied and forgot something. So there are some T30s up under here that you want to take off. There's 1, 2, 3, and then 4. You want to take those off. And of course, if you have a belly pan, which my car did not have a belly pan when I bought it, but you want to take that belly pan off as well. And then you can take the bumper off. Once you've done that, at this point, you're ready to pull this bumper off. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to gently pull these corners out like this, and do that on each side, and then you'll be able to slide it out. Make sure when you do that you grab it from this center piece right here. You do not want to drop this. All right, so now that you've gotten the bumper slid back, you want to go ahead and make sure you unplug your fog lights here on each side. All right, so now that you have taken your front bumper off, next we're going to go ahead and start getting ready to put the car in service position. So the first thing I'm going to do here, I'm going to go ahead and take this brace off right here. So that's going to be a T30, and then a 13 over here, and then there is one over here as well, a 13 and another T30. All right, so now then, once you got those 2 brackets removed and loosened and pushed back as far as you can, next thing you're going to want to do is pop open your coolant reservoir cap, make sure it's depressurized, and then you're going to want to take this line off. All right, one thing I wanted to mention with this, with these types of clamps, what you want to do is you want to get your pit up under this here, and then try to slide it up like that until it pops up, and it should pop up into a neutral resting position like this. You do not want to lose these clamps. Do not lose these clamps. You will have a really bad time. All right, so next up, you're gonna go ahead and take this T30 off over here, and this T30 off right here. All right, so one thing I want to mention is at this point, you are going to need some really long screws. This is what you're going to use to hold the whole front cover up while it's in service position. I would recommend pulling out one of the bolts. If you don't have one, most likely you will not have one of these. Pulling out one of the bolts, run to a hardware store and get the longest bolt that you can get that matches that thread pitch. All right, so now that you got those bolts loose up there, now we're coming down here. You're gonna wanna lift the car up and then go to this crash bar, and then go to this back support for this crash bar back here. I believe these are either 14 or 15 millimeters. So one of these is a lot trickier to get to than the other one, and that's this closest one right here. I'd highly recommend using some type of ratcheting wrench or a wrench with an angle on it. Any wrench with an angle on it will get the job done. And then there's one back here, and you can kind of see it through there. So you can get an extension, you can get a socket on there and then get an extension to that one. And then the one up here is the one that is the easiest to get to. Now then, showing that other side, so you still got your one bolt up here. I got a leaf blocking it, but you can see it right there. And then this bolt here is easy to get to. This one is a little tricky, not really, not as bad as the other side. But essentially what I suggest doing is putting the socket on the bolt and then putting the extension on, because you have a hard AC line in the way right here. All right, so now once you get to this point, you should be able to wiggle the whole front end forward, as long as you got your bolts in and you are sure that you got your bolts in good. Again, if I were you, I would just double check to make sure you got this coolant line disconnected, and then you should be able to wiggle both of these sides forward, as you can see. And then make sure you take note of the dirt or the paint that's indent, because when you put this back together, you're going to want to line it up the same so you're not crooked. So now at this point, you got some more room in here to work with. Now from here, what I would do is I would go ahead and if you want more room, you can disconnect this line as well. And there is a big coolant line down here, and you can disconnect this as well, and then that'll give you even more room if you need it. All right, so once you get to this point, you can start taking off belts. Now what I would do is make sure you have an indication as to which direction your supercharger belt is going. Make sure you do this because you do not want to glaze a belt. I've glazed the belt on accident this way, so I would definitely do that. So what you're going to do to take the supercharger belt off is you're going to take a 16 mil wrench, and you're going to put it on that tensioner down there, and you're going to swing it back, and then you'll be able to slip this belt off. All right, so once you take your supercharger belt off, you're going to want to take off, there's two T30s. There's one T30 here, and there's a T30 down here. I'm going to show you where that is later, but want to get this T30, and then you're going to want to get these two clamps and pull these clamps down to where they clear the intercooler cores. I have a special pliers that I use for these, but you can use regular pliers. They're just a lot more tricky to get on there. One little trick I wanted to mention: if you're having a hard time sliding these clamps down, you want to get yourself a 90-degree pick and slide it up under here, and then just go around and break up the contact surface of these hoses, so that way you can slide it back much easier, and just like that. All right, so now back under the car, there is a T30 up in here right there. You want to take that out as well, and then essentially The way I do things is I'm trying to make as much room as possible, maximizing the amount of room that I can get out here. So then after that, you're gonna take those two clamps off as well, the same type of clamps that are on that supercharger intercooler core. You're gonna wanna take those off. And once you do, be ready for the coolant, because if there wasn't a lot of coolant coming out before, there will be now. I went ahead and pinched mine off. If you have some clamps like this, definitely the time to use those. So once you get this metal pipe out of the way, it'll just give you a lot more room and you won't have to work around the pipe so much. All right, so now once you got that that bracket out of the way, what you're gonna do, this is a little bit of a trick here. Go ahead and break these three 10M triple squares loose. Do not take them all the way out, just break them loose. All right, so now going back in here with the serpentine belt. So what you're going to do is you're going to take a 16 mil wrench, get it on here, and then you're going to want to take the belt off. Now going back over here, the reason why I said just to break these bolts loose, you can break these loose and then keep the tension of the serpentine belt on here so it doesn't move. That way you can break them loose without needing a special tool, because normally you need a special tool that goes in this hole here and this hole here to hold it, to break it loose. But doing it like this, you don't need that special tool. So once you go ahead and take that serpentine belt off, now you can go ahead and literally just spin these bolts out, and you will have your access to your water pump. So this is what it looks like with that water pump pulley off. So you got some T30s, there's 7 of them around here, and then you want to make sure you take this vacuum line right here off. All right, so with that being said, this is actually a relatively easy job to do at the house, as long as you have the right tools. I'm going to put the torque specs of putting the water pump back. I'm going to put the torque specs up here on screen when you put the water pump back, and the torque spec for the water pump pulley itself as well. And then I'm going to fast forward quite a bit, and then I'm going to go ahead and show you how I vacuum fill the coolant system, because I prefer to use vacuum on this, as it's way easier and it's much more difficult to end up with an air bubble in the system. So I'm going to go ahead, and by the time we come back, it should be all back together. All right, so going back together here, I'm just about done putting everything else back together. I had to do a detour, and I did a couple of other things here on the side with that water pump, as I was having some issues with my crank pulley. Not with my crank pulley, but with my idler and serpentine belt tensioner. So going back to the water pump stuff, make sure that you route that serpentine belt correctly. So essentially that path is going to be, if we're starting from the crank pulley back here, hard to see, I know, but imagine this. It starts here, it goes around and down this way, and then it goes around your condenser, or excuse me, AC compressor. Then it goes up, water pump, back down to your alternator, and it comes back up and over serpentine idler, and then over serpentine belt tensioner over here. Hopefully that was clear enough. I'm going to try to see if I can crop a picture and upload it so you can see a better image than that, but if not, I will provide a link in the description of how to route your serpentine belt. All right, so a couple things I want to touch up on before I wrap up this video. One thing I would mention here, clean up everything that you're doing. So all this coolant, all this dried up coolant, make sure you clean it up. Easiest way to clean up coolant is water. Warm water, cold water, doesn't really matter, but water. Use water over brake clean. Water will clean up coolant much faster than brake clean will. Now, another tip I wanted to give you is, and actually, let me go ahead and show you this real quick. All right, so this should be a better image to see what's going on here. So yeah, serpentine belt back over here, around the AC compressor, going up around the water pump, down towards the alternator, back over, hitting this idler, going back through here, across, and then your serpentine belt tensioner right here. Okay, now then, the thing I want to show you is while you have your vehicle, while you have the serpentine belt on like this, what you want to do is then go ahead and tighten everything to spec. So everything that needs to be tightened to spec, go ahead and do that. Now, like I said before, when you're removing this water pump, usually you have to use a special tool that goes in the holes in the side. However, if you do it with the serpentine belt on, you can skip that process. Makes it way easier, and you can get in and out way faster, way more efficiently. All right, so I believe that will be the end of this video for now. I kind of sort of rushed this one, to be honest with you. I'm still at work, and it is, I think it's almost 10 p.m. and I got to go to work tomorrow. So want to get up out of here, but I did want to at least get this DIY recorded. So with that being said, if there are any questions, if there's something I was not clear about with my descriptions, y'all should definitely let me know in the comments. If this is a good tutorial, let me know. If it was a bad tutorial, let me know. But if you're gonna tell me it's bad, I need some criticism. All right, don't just say it's bad because I don't like Atlas, the Audi technician. That's not, I can't use that, you know. Trying to get better every day, aren't we all? So with that being said, y'all have a good rest of y'all week, and I will get back with you soon.